Electric cars used to mean boxy, weird-looking, slow-driving, no-fun monstrosities that blow off the highway with a stiff wind, but not anymore. These cars are popping. All-wheel drive torque machine that gets from 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds? They're helmed by a CEO who's so eccentric and enigmatic that he could just as easily be a Bond villain, but he's not, because he's given us the future of cars. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is everything you need to know to get up to speed on Tesla. This might come as a surprise to a lot of you, but Elon Musk did not found Tesla. No, it was Magic the Gathering buddies Mark Eberhard and Mark Terpening who founded Tesla in the sleepy Northern California town of Menlo Park. These guys were also Silicon Valley veterans who combined their expertise and earned a lot of success with an early e-reader company which produced the Rocket ebook, the precursor to the Kindle. One of their areas of expertise was the little power plants that fueled their little fake books, lithium-ion batteries. Eberhard was also freshly divorced and was ready to buy a sports car just like every other freshly divorced 40-year-old man in the world. He was looking at what was available but started to think about his impact. He must have overlooked the modest, adorable Miata because he got turned on to a little car called the AC Propulsion T0. AC Propulsion is a small company in San Dimas, California. San Dimas high school football rules. That last night I had a drink. Eberhard headed over to see what their little yellow, very 90s looking T0 was all about. After one go, dude was hooked. Eberhard quickly became an investor in AC Propulsion. He looked into shaping it into a legit car manufacturer, not just some small boutique and R&D workshop. Oh my gosh, this little yellow pocket rocket screams like the Millennium Falcon. Why hasn't any major car company made one yet? One problem that plagued the early EVs is that they were all based on battery technology that's been around for almost 100 years. Lead acid batteries. But Mark and Martin knew a thing or two about a thing called lithium-ion batteries. That is what made Eberhard and Terpening start their own company, Tesla Motors, named after Nicholas Tesla, the inventor of lightning. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button to make sure that you don't miss any of our lightning content. We make a lot of it. Back to the story. On April 23rd, 2003, they made it official the way all startups do nowadays. They bought the domain name TeslaMotors.com. They also realized that the auto industry had turned into an industry of suppliers. Ford doesn't make every single little part that goes on their cars. A lot of the parts, like windshields, hoses, wires, springs, wheels, they all come from other places. These guys knew a thing or two about this from their Silicon Valley experience. With this crucial aspect in mind, they were excited to cobble together a small, simple sports car which emitted no CO2 or NOx, but instead emitted HA and WEEEEEEEE. Ha 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 ha! They set out to find a chassis they could drop a big ol' electric motor and a mess of batteries into, and they settled on Lotus. You know, because they have such a great reputation for electrics. With Lotus on the ready, Tesla also worked out a licensing deal with AC Propulsion to use their motor and controller for the powertrain. They were able to get funding from various small sources, but needed one big whale to finish it off and give them the green light. In late April 2004, one of their Silicon Valley buddies who really liked cars became quite interested and gleefully chipped in a few million clams. And that dude's name was? Steve Jobs? No. Weird Al Yankovic? No. His name was Elon Musk! When Tesla was founded in 2003, Elon had just sold his Silicon Valley superstar PayPal. With Musk now on board and plenty of cash in the bank, they hired Ian Wright as their go-to gearhead, a Kiwi with a healthy resume of building race cars. In 2004, Tesla's first test mule was created, the Roadster. It was essentially a Lotus Elise, but with an electric motor, batteries, and various other tech man bits running different kinds of software to bring the whole thing together. It worked, and they were stoked. Their new functioning mule also helped them secure more funding to keep going. A cool 13 mil.
Show me the money.
In July of 2006, the official launch party of the Tesla Roadster went down at Santa Monica Airport in beautiful Mar Vista, California. That's my neighborhood. Please don't come to my house. Tesla filled the first 100 pre-orders at $100,000, and they were off to the races. Environmentalists, nerds, and even car nerds rejoiced over the new, exciting sports car, and everyone was thoroughly stoked for its initial debut, slated for sometime later that same year in 2006. But there was some butting of heads over design elements, ergonomics, use of space, all these things, and the debut kept getting pushed back and back and back. Remember, most of these cars were already paid for. We're not even talking about offering stuff to the general public yet. The ship needed to be steered. So Elon Musk took over as CEO and became the face of the fledgling company. And when the Tesla Roadster finally debuted in 2008, the hype continued on a trajectory just like the Roadster's very own torque curve. A little over 2,400 sold worldwide between 2008 and 2012. The motor is a 3-phase, 4-pole induction electric motor with a maximum output of 248 horsepower. Its maximum torque is 200 pound-feet and comes on immediately and stays maxed out until 6,000 RPM. Later in its production, torque was boosted to 295 pound-feet for even crazier acceleration, clawing to 60 miles per hour in under 4 seconds and smashing through the quarter mile in just over 12.5. In just over 12.5 seconds? The movie that launched this whole thing was asking for a 10-second car. And this thing's almost a 10-second car. It's their first car. After an expensive Roadster, it was time for a luxury competitor. In 2012, Tesla started making the car that would boldly announce to the world that they had arrived. Enter the Tesla Model S. The Model S has a large, comfortable interior with nice amenities, and it's controlled by a big old touchscreen in the front dash. It looks like an iPad. It's beautiful. Because the motor and batteries sit low and out of the way, the interior is super spacious. It's electric, so there's no engine vibrations, and the power delivery is instant and consistent. With the option of adding ludicrous mode from the factory, this 588 buff horsepower, 920 pound-feet beast lunges to 60 miles per hour in just 2.3 seconds. 2.3 seconds. And thanks to the regenerative braking system, when you slow down, you can get back some of that electricity that sped you up in the first place. This thing's a spaceship for the road. While the Model S has undergone various power upgrades, drivetrain upgrades, and facelifts in April of 2016, it is still the same generation. Usually, there are enough upgrades and changes to a car. Most OEMs just come out with a new generation of vehicle, a new car. Have you seen the new Mustang? Looks a bit like the old Mustang, but newer. Yeah, cool, that's what we're used to. But Tesla, they don't do that. They distinguish their generations by making them a different vehicle. Production jumped from 15 or so cars per week in 2010 to nearly 1,000 per week in 2015. So Tesla decided it was time for their second generation vehicle. Remember, Tesla's plan is to start from the top down. First, sports car, then luxury performance sedan. Then the next step is, of course, next would be an entry-level consumer car that most pretty affluent families could afford with an MSRP somewhere between $30,000 and $50,000. You are killing it today, buddy. You are killing it. You are absolutely destroying. The Tesla Model X SUV debuted in early 2015. While the Model X shares 30% of the same parts as the Model S, it doesn't quite achieve the same range. That's because it's a thick boy, topping out at 5,531 libs. That's 1,000 more libs than the rusty 1990 Ford F-250 my buddy Cameron had in high school. Even with all them corn stalks stuck under the grill. Cameron loved driving through cornfields. Despite its thick boy status, the Model X P100D with Luda mode has insane power. It's a crossover that jumps to 60 miles per in 2.9 seconds. It matches the 0 to 60 of a freaking Ferrari 488, which you can win if you click on this link right here. And the design was something too. Elon has owned quite a few kick-ass cars. His first car was a 1978 BMW 320i that he drove till a wheel literally fell off. He even dailied. Are you guys ready for this? A McLaren F1.
There it is, gentlemen, the fastest car in the world.
That he totaled. Ah!
I'm okay. I'm okay.
But the car that most directly influenced an actual Tesla design is an Audi Q7 that Musk owns currently.
And then, we've got things like the Audi Q7, which is, it's not bad.
So he wanted to make a car with doors that could open in tight spaces with access to third row seats without folding the second row seats forward. Enter Falcon doors.
Welcome!
Model X was so highly anticipated that it received 30,000 pre-orders before it went on sale. The Model X production was slow to get going as supplying issues arose once again. Delivery started out at just 204 units in the fourth quarter of 2015. Elon was getting flack with rumors of poorly run plants and crappy build quality. Musk brought in analysts and experts with stellar careers from the likes of Ford, GM, and everyone else to turn around operations. He kept what worked, scrapped what didn't, and the Model X's started cranking out. But that, much like my Super Saiyan haircut, was not even his final form. He was about to go Super Saiyan! The Model 3, the third mass market car in Tesla's lineup. After its announcement, the Model 3 amassed 325,000 reservations in a week. It was intended as a lighter, smaller, more attainable vehicle, and this shows in its accoutrement since its debut. But in July of 2017, the rear-wheel drive single-motor sedan has bumped production to top out at 5,000 cars per week. That is a lot of batteries cruising them streets. The Tesla Model 3 is the #1 selling car of 2018, outselling Mercedes, Audi, even the Toyota Corolla. The Toyota Corolla! The Toyota Corolla! Pricing starts around $42K with some higher tier models coming in at about 60. What about its power? Well, it's not bad either. The 3 jumps to 60 in 5.6, and the top level all-wheel drive performance one gets there in 3.3 seconds.
Watch out.
It's got 450 horsepower, 470 pound-feet of torque. In fact, the new kick-ass swap is finding a total Tesla and modding your favorite little chassis. S3s, S2000s, and even this 1981 Honda Accord have all become kick-ass beasts that rocket to 60 without much of a peep. Not only are electric cars the future of commuting, but mark Big Bro's words, it's the future of tuning. So what's next for Tesla? The new Roadster! That's right, slated for production in 2020, Tesla is taking all the research, development, safety, and so on, and so on, and so on, and they are offering up a new version of the Roadster dubbed the Roadster 2020. Vision clear. Speaking of 2020, you're guaranteed to lose your 2020 vision when you step on the insanity pedal. Those madmen are claiming the 2020 Roadster will reach 60 miles an hour in 1.9 seconds and 100 in 4.2. That's as fast as an F1 car. Unlike the original, the new Roadster won't ride on another guy's chassis like Nolan does. It'll be an entirely Tesla-developed hypercar. It's freaking beautiful. It's like the buffest, shiniest horse I've ever seen. The car is expected to go for around 200,000 bones, but it still might be a great value compared to the other insanely fast vehicles that are on the market today. Also, they launched one into freaking space! Elon himself stated that it could potentially come with a feature called the SpaceX Option Package. This would add about 10 cold gas thrusters to improve maneuverability. These wild, sci-fi sounding thrusters could improve downforce if they're aimed up, cornering if they're aimed out, top speed if they're shooting back, and braking if they shoot forward. What is he smoking? In less than 2 decades, Tesla went from making cute little Lotus things to being a full-fledged disruptor in the auto industry, and now they're on the verge of hitting 60 miles per in less than 2 seconds. Sounds crazy. But so does everything else about this company. Thank you so much for watching Up to Speed. To make sure you don't miss any of them, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. It really does help us out. If you want to know more about the tech that goes into Teslas, check out this episode of Science Garage. If you want to know more about the future, check out this episode of Wheelhouse. I love you. That's a good one.